Hello there. Welcome to the best place for African stories. And today we are going to be telling you another amazing and interesting African folktale which will definitely be worth listening to right to the end before you make any conclusions of your own. So please do well to listen very attentively and carefully. But before we start our story, we would like to ask that if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing now, so that you don't miss out on our new videos as they come up. And also, if you enjoy our videos, kindly support us through the means provided. Thank you. Now listen to this amazing story. Long ago, in a village in Africa lived a young man who was known throughout the area as the best hunter. His name was Kwaku. He was a tall, strong and handsome man and had a good reputation in the village because no game was too difficult for him to capture. One day, while walking in the forest, Kwaku saw a rock covered with moss and could not help but wonder what kind of magic it possessed. He decided to take a closer look at it, and when he touched it, his hand went straight through the rock as if it were not there. When he pulled his hand away, he saw that the part of his body where his hand had been touching the stone was slowly turning green. Frightened by what was happening, he ran home and jumped into a river to wash himself. But the water had no effect on his body. In desperation, he went to an old woman known as the keeper of secrets in the village. She listened to his story and told him about a special herb called atampa that could help him. But the herb atampa only grew in a very dangerous place, far away in the middle of a marsh where there were alligators, poisonous snakes and other wild animals. Undeterred, Kwaku set off on his journey. On his way to the marsh, he met a beautiful woman named Yar and told her about his quest for the herb atampa. Impressed by his determination, Yar offered to accompany him on his journey, promising to help him find the plant. Together, they traveled for many days until they finally reached the marsh. Just as Kwaku had feared, there were alligators, snakes, and all kinds of dangerous animals everywhere. But with Yar's help, he managed to navigate the treacherous terrain and find the precious herb. As soon as he touched the plant, he felt all the magic inside it flow into his body. The poison from the stone began to leave his skin, and everything returned to normal. Overjoyed, he thanked Yar profusely and asked her to name her price for helping him. But she replied that she did not want anything from him. However, she warned him never to tell anyone, especially his wife, about the incident or else the magic would return. Many years passed and Kwaku forgot all about the incident until one day when he went hunting and saw a strange deer with a coat of many colors. Excited by the challenge, he chased the animal through the forest until it disappeared. Determined to find it, Kwaku followed its tracks and came across a cave. Peeking inside, he saw the deer resting and felt a sudden urge to enter. As he moved forward, he noticed a rock covered with moss and could not resist the temptation to touch it. To his horror, his hand went straight through the rock and once again, the magic began to flow into his body. Panicking, he ran from the cave, but soon realized he had lost his way. Exhausted and hungry, he decided to rest under a tree and fell asleep. When he woke up, he found himself surrounded by the most delicious food he had ever seen. There were roasted meats, fish, fruits and vegetables, as well as a beautiful woman who was smiling at him. Kwaku was stunned by the sight before him and asked the woman how she had conjured up this feast. She replied that she was the owner of the forest and that she had prepared the food for him as a reward for his kindness to the animals. In gratitude, Kwaku offered to pay her for the meal, but she refused, saying that she only wanted him to be happy. As they ate together, the woman told Kwaku that she knew about the magic in the cave and offered to help him break the curse. However, she warned him that it would be painful and asked if he was sure he wanted to go ahead. Kwaku hesitated, but ultimately decided that he could not live in fear of the magic returning. With the woman's help, he returned to the cave and confronted the rock. This time, instead of running away, he stood his ground and concentrated all his strength on breaking the rock. With a loud crash, the rock shattered into pieces and the cave began to shake. Suddenly, the ground split open and a brilliant light filled the space. When Kwaku opened his eyes, he found himself back in the forest, and the first thing he saw was Yar standing in front of him. Startled, she asked him what had happened and why he had suddenly appeared in the forest. Kwaku explained about the cave and the rock, and Yar was furious. She scolded him for disobeying her orders and warned him that he had only been spared because of her help. Then she disappeared into the forest, leaving Kwaku alone in the clearing. Kwaku was shaken by the experience, but he was also relieved to be free of the rock's magic. He returned to the village, but he never hunted again and spent his remaining days teaching the villagers how to farm and live in harmony with the forest. And that is the end of this interesting story. We hope you enjoyed this amazing story. If you did, please give this video a like and share it with your friends and family. You can also leave a comment below with your thoughts, opinions, or any lessons you learned from the story. For those of you watching for the first time, we suggest you click the link to watch another interesting story. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.